Alright, how you guys doing? I got a lot of positive news right now. This is my second wet test, and I haven't had any issues. I mean, let me go through it, I guess. We'll start from the bottom. Right now it's all running, and I mean, I literally just turned it on, and I mean, it works. So as you can see, I got my pump in there. I'm going to slowly come around. And I guess I'm going to use this as a quick tour because I don't anticipate any significantly major modifications to go from here. So it's fair to say that as long as I don't come up with any issues down the road, this will be complete-ish. Sure, this project is never really going to be complete, but that's the fun of it, right? So anyway, I got my pump going up in there, and as you can see, it's going to go all the way up into here. And again, pardon lighting, and I got a flashlight that I'm using in my hand. And I'm trying to do a lot of different little things at the same time. So what I have is I got it going into here, into my fish tank, and there's a little flow nozzle kind of like this, but looks more like, well, it's a little bit smaller like this. And effectively that will be controlling the entire system's flow rate. I'm basically going to divert it either from the fish tank into the grow beds. Everything else is more or less emergency shut-offs and flow controls, right? But at the end of the day, I want one control, and that's going to be in there. So anyway, this is open, and will always be open. It can obviously close. I even cut out a notch so it fits. This will make it so that I can effectively do whatever the hell I want to do up here and still have flow going into my fish tank. So I can leave the pump going and it's all good. This is going to continue up. It goes up behind this little pipe here. Again, sorry, I only have two eyes. And it's just going to trickle down in here. Now, I haven't done the math, but I mean, I'd reckon I'm at least putting 5 gallons an hour up there, probably more, somewhere in the 5 to 10 gallon range. And then I have two of them going out. And yeah, and then it basically will fill up the buckets. Right now I have no grow media in here, but eventually this will be filled with grow media and roots and all sorts of good stuff. That little cap is a cap inside of a cap. If you remember inside my first video, or not my first video, but one of my videos, I kind of addressed how I built that. And just give me a second here while I look at something here. Yeah, that's off. Yeah, this is looking good. This is working. This is great. But yeah, in a nutshell there, something I found really weird. It works, but I think there's a way I can improve this line. Right now, as I was expecting it, I was expecting that to actually be completely filled with water when it's full. Like there'd be a suction and it would suck all the water into this thing, and it's a little bit of water, no big deal, until it drains, right? Now, once the water drains, it'll allow air to get back under that cap and allow water back into this tube, which would effectively put water right back into the siphon, which will break the siphon, and it breaks the siphon. But what I'm getting at is it doesn't quite do that. I mean, it'll fill up to a certain point, and then it just sort of stays there. And I find that it stays there right at the height until it breaks. So I guess it is telling me that it is airtight, which is great. But I have this air tube. But anyway, it seems to be working. Some of my earlier tests, I had actually more flow than this going. And, it works. It's all working. I haven't tested the max. I may do that before I put grow media in there. Wouldn't be hard to test. Maybe when I get done this video, who knows. But that's a trivial thing for me to think about. And just using my water bottle as glass. Everything else put on there just floats. But yeah, once I get the grow media in there, that won't move anywhere. So yeah, basically then, so it's going to go, through down the bottom of these tanks. I got them connected, so they will provide equal levels. And it'll go down through the U siphon there, and all as well. I also added, as you can see here, this little black tubing. This is an emergency overflow. And I reckon this black tube's good for 10 gallons per hour. I mean, again, I'm not an expert in plumbing, and just based off of some of the graphs and charts that I've seen, that should be good. The only little concern that I have is this tube here, like it'll bottleneck, sorry, let me get the video right. It does bottleneck into here, which means even though this may be good for 10, this is good for 10, but I'm really down to 10 again. So I am thinking I mean, I'm going to probably test this somehow, some way, like, you know, fill it right up and just see. But this would be an easy fix too. I mean, it's all on the back. I just have to, you know, basically, I mean, this is just like an L bend. You know, I can build like a little manifold in here, and it wouldn't be too hard. Right now, I figured it will work, but if I put the manifold in there, I won't have to think about it. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, so all that stuff's going on in there. Let me go around the front here again. Got this plastic tray just to minimize the splashing. Take it off for visibility. So I mean, right now, you know, we're basically slowly filling, which is how it works. And then, you know, as you can see, let me take some of the light off of it. It's nothing's coming out, so that means the siphon it's working. It's off. And, you know, obviously I've got some good water aeration going on constantly for my fish. And then I'll get some extra out of that. And then this is my overflow little cap thing there. I mean, eventually I'll actually have a cap. I'll drill a shit ton of holes in there so fish and stuff can't get in. And then that is completely adjustable. There's no seals, there's no glues, you know, on the inside of the tank. I can move that around wherever I want. I'm also finding that's also making a little bit of a noise when both these things are going. You know, inconsistency with the flow, which is giving it the ability to suck water into there, which makes a noise. I think I will solve that down the road, but it's very minor. It's probably even noise I could probably even learn to live with. But, you know, I'll address that issue later. So yeah, the only real issues that I sort of have is I'm using these two totes as a sump pump. You know, I learned on my old one that, you know, it's going to flex a little bit. And the old pump, or the old tote that I had, wasn't flexing enough for me to have, like, great concerns. This one here, being that it's a bigger tote, you know, it's a little bit thinner, I figured, you know, why not? That pinky, I'm colorblind, I guess. That yellow stuff you see is a foam. It's like a door and window sealant foam. I put that in between the two containers to be a spacer. So that way I minimize my flexing as the water goes in and out. Now, I have some ideas on how I may be able to secure this, because as this gets fuller and fuller, you know, it'll get wider and wider. I don't think it's an issue right now, but like I said in a previous video, I would love to be able to build my own custom tanks. And so, I mean, as long as this works for the next 6 months to a year, I can live with that. Or at least I hope I can live with that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, we're 8 minutes into this thing. I mean, everything's working. Again, pardon for all the lighting issues and stuff like that, but, you know, like I got a cap, up over there, you know, so like there's going to be a cap. Actually, let's quickly grab that. Actually, screw it. There's a fish cover. I've got it nice, so it should fit all that plumbing quite nicely. You know, I'm not going to get all that spray and shit, which is actually something that I'm like, yeah, because that's particle board. After I got my metal caps, I don't know if I mentioned that, but I got these metal caps now for my shells. There's no particle board underneath it even, and I'm quite pleased with that. You know, I'm almost wondering if at some point in the future I'm going to want to get something, but it'd have to be sturdy enough for me to, like, you know, drill that into there. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, any of that fun stuff that people like to say at the end of their videos, you know, leave it in the comments. You know, I'm going to try to be really professional about this. I know, like, I'm not going to be like, you know, well, if you like this video, you know, give me a like. You know, that's your call, right? If you like it. But I'm going to try not to be, you know, begging for that shit for every time I have a video. So yeah, other than that, I'm going to let it go, and hopefully, I guess my next step is I'm actually feeling confident enough to leave this on while I go to work. I'm going to teach my roommates how to basically turn it off if he feels that something's not going right. And, you know, if I come home and everything's all running and fired up and good, it'll be too late for me to drain it that night, but tomorrow I'll be able to drain it, put it into that corner, and hopefully have the time to fill up with water and basically, you know, like, it's almost there. You know what I mean? I don't want to cycle the water for another 2 or 3 days. and do some chemical tests. I mean, like, obviously, like, there'll be more videos. I'll be doing some videos on, yeah, I'm just thinking of all the things I still need to do. So I'm going to leave it at that. Keep this video 10 minutes and have yourself a good one.